All right, we're live. Hey, what's up, guys? Hope you're all having an amazing Monday. I'm joined today with, of course, Cass down south of me in the Vancouver area, and then a really special guest today, Lana Rodriguez from Real Broker in Colorado. How are you girls doing today?
We are doing fantastic.
Good.
How's everybody else are doing?
I'm super excited to have you on here, Lana, for a couple of reasons. One, I think Colorado is a real estate market that people are always interested in. Colorado is a huge attractor. I used to live in the Midwest, and people always wanted to go to Colorado, out in the Pacific Northwest. Now people still just want to see different mountains, I guess. I don't know, it's all the same to me. But it's an interesting place, and it gets a lot of attention. And so I'm excited to chat through that today, as well as talk about yourself a little bit. So normally before we kind of get into the meat and potatoes, one of the things I like to do is just sort of talk about like who we're talking with, and kind of give the people in your area an opportunity to like learn who you are. So kind of how did you step into the real estate space in the beginning?
Right on. All Austin and Cass, thank you so much for having me. It's an honor to be able to do this with our friends. And for all of you guys watching, hopefully you're having an amazing start to your holiday week. So who am I? Oh my God, that list is long. How much time do we have? Just kidding. I'm going to keep it short. I'm actually an immigrant. I've been in America since 2005. And I lived 1 year in Louisiana. I lived about 7 or 8 years in Austin, Texas. And then Colorado became home. I'm also a military spouse. So the reason how we came to Colorado Springs is my husband got military orders. And in 2014, we came here. And end of that year, I got my real estate license. Now, for some of you wondering, how did it happen and how did you get into real estate? It was actually a simple ultimatum from my husband. I was one of the females who it was kind of problematic to get pregnant, and I was told I'm probably not going to be able to have kids. And it was my goal by age of 30 to have a first child, just very stubborn goal of mine. And my husband was not for that. Like, he had different goals and plans. So he told me if I want to start attempting to go have a, pregnancy, I need to go back to work. Wait a second. I think it works otherwise. But it was a situation at our house. And back then we were buying a third property together in Colorado Springs, our third house together. We bought properties before in Texas. And, he told me, why don't you go become a realtor? I have a sales background. Before real estate, I used to be in retail management. And he saw something what I have not seen in myself yet. And he kind of pushed me towards that goal. And end of that year, I got licensed. And it's a history from there. It was lots of trial and error. It was, lots of 8 years of grinding and building the team, building the business. Had 2 kids in between. Actually, the doctors were wrong. I was able to get pregnant. And overall, very, very rewarding. Very, very rewarding.
Well, I think one of the interesting things about you, and I think this is actually important for your marketplace, is that I think you operate in a very special way. And I don't really go into real estate businesses when we have these talks, but I love that you run like a scaled mom and pop shop. Like, you're very much in tune with your community and the people that you're around. So I was just kind of curious, like, how has the community of Colorado Springs affected your family since you guys have been there?
Yeah, so community is a very powerful word. Even since I came to America, it was a very, very lonely road. And I think all of us can relate. You don't have to be an immigrant to relate to word of loneliness and not belonging. So as an immigrant, I had that journey. And then, of course, I got married to a military guy. And even though military life is full of excitement and moves, it's also very lonely because you move from one place to another. You have to recreate everything, connections, friends, and things like that. So my number one goal was, when I got into real estate business, is to actually build my own community where whoever works with our team, when they come in, they never feel lonely. They feel that they belong here. They have multiple resources to tap into, anywhere from, schools, local businesses. And that's how the concept of the client events was born. I don't know if you guys heard me preach about client events, but I'm big on that. I'm big on bringing community together and actually provide quality time and a little bit of value to all our clients and also friends. we usually open up these events to majority who we know. It can be our sphere. It can be anyone who knows about our team. You don't have to necessarily buy or sell a house. And that's how we grew our business in Colorado Springs. It's been a very blessed road. But I clearly, I accepted for who I was, which I was an immigrant, right? I was not going to recreate myself out of somebody who I was not. And then I just tweaked my way into the real estate industry and just adapted what worked for me, pretty much.
I love it. And so that's a really good way that you guys are constantly giving back to the Colorado Springs community, which I think is a really perfect reason to have you on here. So you ended up building out the real estate team in Colorado Springs, and how long have you guys had that? How long have you been doing that for?
So the team originated in 2017.
Okay.
So for first 2 years, I got my license end of 2014, and 2015, 16 were groundbreaking years. And 2016, believe it or not, I did 119 transactions as a solo agent with a newborn at home and with one part-time TC.
Woo!
That's incredible.
Just for the people out there, that's a lot. Like, that's a lot. Like,
yeah.
I know a lot of people that lose it at 40. Like 119, that is phenomenal with a baby. Oh my goodness.
It was a lot. And like some people still ask me, how did I do this? And it was just nonstop. It was pure hustle, God provided, referrals kept coming in. And all I knew at that point, and was genuinely served to my clients. Was I the best realtor? I mean, I thought I was the best realtor. I was one of the youngest realtors in my brokerage. Back then I was at Remax, and Remax is very seasoned brokerage. Everybody, our top producer there. And there was just me, young, running and gunning. And the end of that year, I told my husband, I'm losing my shit. I can't do this anymore. And my husband is a strong army guy. He's like, no, you just need to get more organized. And I'm like, I don't think that's exactly it.
This works.
Yeah. Because back then, my daughter was literally raised by my mother, who I brought here from Eastern Europe to literally just take care of my child. I never seen my husband because he had an active duty position at Fort Carson. And what did I do? Well, I went and go ahead and started a team because I pretended like I knew what I was doing. In all reality, I didn't. And I brought on 3 licensed agents who were hungry for leads. And I was like, let's freaking go. And we did. So from 119 transactions in 2016, we did 184 transactions in 2017. So it was a pivotal year and growing a team, and lots of lessons learned there too, First year, young team leader. It was interesting.
That's a really cool story. And I think moving forward, you guys have a lot to offer your community. And I think there's a lot for other business leaders, I think, in your area that they could learn from you when it comes to just the way you serve. And I think that art of service is why you expanded so quickly. I think that's a really amazing thing. What was it like, or what can people expect when they are like PCSing into your area? Because I know Fort Carson, you guys lived through that. And I know anytime I'm looking at or talking to people that are either coming like to my market or they're going to South Carolina, there's a lot of concerns about what it's like or how to make it smooth. Like, how was your experience coming in, and what would you have changed now that you have your experience in real estate?
Yeah, that's a great question. And for the majority of the clients who we work with, most everyone loves Colorado Springs. There's only a few people who don't, and it's particularly because of cold. Maybe they're coming from down south and they're used to to warm weather, because Colorado does get cold, but it doesn't stay cold for too long.
No.
And there's also some people who just kind of clicked on the big city mentality, and Colorado Springs is too small for them. But for us, for my family, and for me personally, it works just great because we have Denver, which is 1 hour away. So if I want to experience metropolitan city experience, I just go on a highway, and go have dinner or stay in a hotel with my husband for 24 hours. And believe it, that's enough. That's enough. They can deal with that. In Colorado Springs, honestly, what I say, it's a small town, but it's not. It's a beautiful town. We rarely have 5 o'clock traffic, bumper to bumper. And that's amazing, especially for our line of work, when we need to get on a car and be from one side of town to another side of town. So that kind of works great. And especially if you're a business owner like myself and you're trying to be part of the community, it's easier to grow yourself in a smaller city like Colorado Springs, because I'm sure in Denver they have multiple Lanas who do the same thing.
You know, I lived in Denver for 3.5 years, and it was constantly a nightmare trying to get anywhere because the freeways, the amount of people, everything was just a nightmare. But whenever I went and visited Colorado Springs, it was always like, oh, hey, this is a big little city, and there's really not that much traffic, and there's lots to do. I always loved visiting Colorado Springs, and my cousin just relocated out of there to Kentucky, and he loved it there too. So it's a great place.
Yeah, lots of outdoors. If you are trying to, improve your healthy lifestyle, I mean, there's so many opportunities: hiking and biking and a little bit of swimming. We don't have lots of water spaces, but as far as military location, we have 5 military posts. We have Fort Carson, Air Force Base Peterson. We have Air Force Academy, Shriver and Cheyenne Mountain Base, and then of course there's a couple military posts in Denver area too. So for somebody who wants to build a career in real estate, I believe it's a prime market because military, personnel, they usually moving and then moving away within the next 2 to 3 years, aka PCSing. So when I got into this, I don't want to say I hit a gold mine or gold pot. What is it? That saying?
Yeah.
But on some aspect, I got pretty lucky because yes, I worked my ass off and there were 60, 70-hour weeks, but, being plugged into the military community, I think it helped me drastically because I don't know if I would be able to recreate what I recreated in some other city where there is no military presence.
Well, and it's also, you can tell, I mean, from the conversations we've had, you come from a place of service. And when you come from a place of service, people want to be with you, around you, want to connect with you. So it's just great to hear that, you found a niche and you come from a place of service and it has helped you and the community.
Yeah, that was I guess it was my niche, even though I was trying to, in the beginning when we moved here, because we were brand new, I was trying to make my niche a mom niche, but what I quickly realized, and if you're the mom watching, I mean, I love you, I'm cheering for you, but the stay-at-home mom has a little bit different path than, full-time working mom. Yeah. And in my first year of business, I created a lot of mom friends. And unfortunately, we had to part ways because I was not able to, for the next few years in my life, I was not able to, attend the girl happy hours or go hang out on a weekend because I was literally either I was working and showing homes or I was at home with my newborn daughter, trying to be a mom. Yeah. So that was also an interesting moment. And that's why up to this point, I don't have a lot of friends in my life. I mean, you're my friend, so thank you for having me.
Of course.
But I'll tell you what, if for our audience, if you guys are thinking that real estate may be interested to you, or you're thinking going some kind of route or real estate career, it was super rewarding for me. And I believe it can be super rewarding for you too. And even though you hear all the time this year, market has shifted, market is different. I mean, yes, it's a little tougher, but it doesn't mean we're not going to come out of it. I really believe people who stay and tough it out and, sharpen our axes and sharpen our skills, we're going to come out on the top. We have to. There's no fucking other way.
Right. We got to win. Yes. So that kind of brings to a good point is, what would you give us an update? Like roundabout, I live in Colorado Springs. Is now a good time to sell? Is now a good time to buy? Like what's going on in the market? We see the media right now is just pushing, in my opinion, just like pure fear mongering.
Yeah.
And confusion on a consistent basis. So as the expert in your market, how does Colorado stack up to what's going on the macro level, and what changes do you see coming ahead?
So I just looked at the MLS inventory this morning and compared this December to last year's December, we are double in inventory counts.
Okay.
Double in inventory counts. Also, days on the market on average, and don't quote me, of course it varies from the neighborhood, because the neighborhood with the higher taxes, the homes over there are going to sit a little longer. We all know that, right? Because it's going to be more expensive for the buyer to get into this property. But on average, we're seeing about 45 days on the market. And it fucking sucks. It fucking sucks. And of course, there's going to be unicorn properties. And by unicorn properties, for our audience, it's something unique, something unique that somebody has on their list and waiting for this to come on the market for a year, or something like that can probably go over a weekend or maybe another week, right? It's going to not sit on the market that longer. But your regular suburban neighborhoods, I mean, we're just sitting a little bit. However, how do we attack that? Well, we attack that with the conversations about price improvements with our sellers up front. So it's been very helpful. We come and we are fully transparent. We say this is where we at, but you have to be open if it doesn't move. Unless you're open to sitting in a market for the next 2 months, then it's okay. And we have these conversations too, but the price adjustment conversations right up front have been a very good tactic for us.
Just set those expectations up in advance. So you're seeing a doubling in inventory in Colorado Springs. So does that mean it's harder for your sellers to sell, but doesn't that give your buyers a good advantage because now they have more things to kind of look at if you're on the buy side?
Yes, it does. It does. But as you know, due to interest rate increases, buyers are very, very cautious. Sure. Now they're less aggressive, they're less aggressive, and we try to educate our buyers. Come on, now it's the time. Now it's the time you can actually get seller concessions. We can probably even get your rate buy down. But buyers are very cautious because any consumer, because where are they getting their data? I mean, they're listening to us, or the realtors, of course, hopefully, right? But they're reading the news, and it depends what kind of news portal you're attached to. I mean, it all provides different shit. One day it's good, one day it's bad. Rates are up, rates are down. So consumer is very, very confused, unfortunately. And then we come in and we're like, okay, well, let's go home shopping. They're like,
Yeah, it's the news is definitely like they fearmonger a lot. And I think we spend as realtors, we spend a lot of time trying to like sift through that and say, no, it's okay. Like I've got tons of clients that are like, oh, the interest rates are too high or the market's too crazy. I'm going to wait for it. And I'm like, you're going to wait for what? You're going to wait until you're like 80 and you're never going to have a house. Like, just listen. And so I know I talked to a couple people about buy downs today, and it completely and utterly changed their perspective about buying. I was like, oh, 3, 2, 1 buy down. I'm like, you can get in at like 3.5% right now, possibly. And they're like, what? And I'm like,
yeah.
So
yeah, we're seeing also some loan assumptions. Like we have submitted an offer this afternoon for loan assumption, and it's a gray area for us. For all of us, it's our first loan assumption, and then we had to figure out who's gonna get paid and how it works. But it's doable, and we're seeing more and more opportunities like that.
So for the people that are listening, a loan assumption, a lot of times that'll happen in like VA or FHA areas. I think you can do it in conventional as well, but basically you offer the remaining loan amount is $300,000. The house is worth $450,000 and your rate is 3.5% on your interest. The new buyer is going to assume the $300,000 loan at 3.5% interest, and then they have to make up the difference between the 300 and the 450 in some other way, shape, or form, whether it's cash or some other means that they deem. I haven't personally done them. I've read about them a ton, but it is doable. And seeing those now, that's one thing that we know that the market is shifting. Is you're seeing that, or you're seeing owner financing, or you're seeing contingencies, you'll see bumpable buyers. So it sounds like Colorado Springs is definitely has shifted with a lot of the other markets as well.
Yeah. And when approximately we started feeling a shift, it was like just about June, because we had killer beginning of the year. We were on track. We were, riding the high horse. And then just about June, we're like, okay, the listing stayed on the market a little longer. And we were still in denial, because it's hard to admit that, okay, the shift is finally here, because we're hoping for the best. Oh, it's just the summer, because summer for the last few years, it was like either June or July. It was either hit or miss. But then when it came to August, September, then it was very eye-opening. And we're like, okay, it's here. How are we going to adjust? What conversations we're going to be having with our team? And can you guys hear me?
No.
We can hear you.
We can hear you, Lana.
Okay, hold on. Let me see what's going on.
What's up, Misha? Good to see you, buddy.
Misha's here. Hey.
Misha is here.
He will be a guest soon on here, I feel like. With him rambling on.
So what?
Didn't I tell you I fucking hate technology? What? Misha. Hi. Hello, Misha. Guten Tag. Misha is my German homie.
Yes, he's definitely the German homie. So before Cass has a few things she want to chat with you about, particularly a couple stories that have came across the news. My kind of niche is like knowing everything about where I live and what I do. So I'm just kind of curious, like, what are your favorite things about Colorado Springs that you feel like would attract somebody to move there? And what are some situations or areas where there needs to be some change, or your least favorite things about the area?
Change. Haha. Well, it would be good if our city would fix some potholes.
Oh,
You asked me.
I
Yeah,
feel you. I feel you on that. I hit
Ramsey.
one every day.
Ramsey's asking, "What are you drinking, Austin?" Hi, Ramsey.
this is Bushmills for a 2 o'clock whiskey.
Somebody's celebrating Christmas early.
That's right.
I guess I missed that memo today. I'm just kombuchaing.
We're just having water here because some of us still have to get back to work after this. So, oh, Misha's on his way to Germany, you guys.
That's
Oh my
awesome.
God. Have a good time. Have an amazing time. Okay, so let's talk about the negative. Man, homeless population is we have one homeless shelter in downtown Colorado Springs. And now I feel since I've been living here for 8 years, that is a lot of homeless, and I wish like our city or government or mayor will do something about it. Because there's only one organization that kind of helps to support homeless, and we contributed. We contributed a few years ago. We contributed a lump sum of cash just to kind of support it, but I don't even know where that money goes to, right?
Right.
So if they would do something to homeless population, or either build housing or something like that, because it got to the point, because we live in Old Colorado City. Old Colorado City is like older power. It's like about 10 minutes from downtown, and it was like cool. It was a cool hipster spot. It was safe. And now to the point is where I cannot even go for a walk there in the morning. There's just lots of things going on. Doesn't make sense. Yeah, so it's just the negatives. But otherwise, fixing the roads, just homeless in downtown area. Like people who buy in suburbia and like on the outskirts of Colorado Springs, it's fine. It's very clean. But things like that. But as far as positive, there's so many freaking things positive. We have a couple great nature spots. And like
a couple, everything west of you
Everything
is beautiful.
nature.
Everything.
We have Pikes Peak, but my favorite two spots, we have Red Rock Open Space. Not Red Rock Amphitheater where they have concerts. That's in Denver. But we have Red Rock Open Space that, believe it or not, I live like 7 minutes away from it, and I just got discovered it this year. But
Wow.
Don't judge me. And then we have Garden of the Gods. And I truly believe both of those spots are therapeutic. So if you have a depression, or if you suffer some anxiety, I'm not saying I do, but maybe I do, maybe I don't. But it's just a good spot to go walk around and just air your head and kind of like brainstorm and manifest. I love those spots, and I would not trade myself going to live in Denver surrounded by higher buildings, and don't have spots like this to rely on when I want to have some privacy or just walk around, things like that. And people are super chill. Like we do not have, like aggressive vibe, because sometimes like you go to New Jersey or you go to New York and you're like, get out of my freaking, whatever they say. But no, everybody are like super chill and kind and nice and welcoming. So that's kind of huge for me, because it's very important for me where I live to feel very welcome. And Austin for the longest time was a very welcoming city for me. I felt like I belonged. Even though I also lived in Louisiana and I did not feel welcome there. I mean, I love Louisiana people and food, but it was just weird. So it works for me. We are, we're a mixed family. My husband is Hispanic, I'm Russian, and I still have an accent. So I feel like I belong here and I feel very welcome. So that's important.
Well, I can say that I think, for me, being up towards the Seattle area, Cass being down by the Portland area, we understand some of the homeless struggles. And I think the majority of the West Coast is kind of reeling from that. So luckily you're not alone there. And nature, I can say that don't feel bad at all for not noticing that place that's right in your backyard, because in the Pacific Northwest, everything is beautiful all the time. And you've never been to everything. So we can totally relate to that end of things as well. Guess what did you have, Dad? Sorry.
Oh, I was just going to ask her how she felt about the Manitou incline, because my experience with that was awful.
Yeah. So far I lived here 8 years. I did it 2.5 times. The first time we did it, and friends, if you don't know what Manitou Incline, it's like this long ass hike up to the mountain, and like it looks easy. You're like, I got this. No,
It's like 2,200 feet in like less than a mile, and it's all stairs. And the military guys, like I have friends that would run that like twice a week. Like, oh, no big deal. I died. I hiked it once.
Yeah,
and I lost it.
Yeah, it's like almost 2,700 steps. And the first time we did it, it was Brian and I, my husband and I, and with friends. The first month we moved to Colorado, like no joke, I had asthma problems for 1 month after that. I made it to the top, took me like double time. But because remember, in Colorado, elevation is like it's different. So your breathing have to adjust. So my lungs the first time was like very messed up. Second time I did it, I don't even know how I made it. And just a few months ago in August, I took some friends, and my friends, one of them was a CrossFitter, another one was like a person who does triathlons or triathlete. But they came from Florida, so I warned them. I was like, you guys have to be careful. It was a walk in the park for them. I made it halfway, and I'm like, why did I do this to myself? But also keep in mind, guys, I don't work out. Don't judge me, please. Do not judge me. I should be working out, but I haven't worked out realistically for like good 7 years. So I'm out of shape. It's fun. But otherwise, when you get to the top, the views are amazing, and you're like, yes, victory. But if you want to do this, either you have to be physically fit, or you have to adjust and you have to train for it.
So sorry, I just had to bring that up because like that was we thought it was a great idea, and then we were about maybe a quarter of the way up, and I was like, this is a horrible idea. It is fun though.
I think that's a very unique thing that you guys have there, which I would love to challenge it. Colorado whoops my butt for the first 2 days I'm there. I got to get like used to the acclimation, used to the air, all of that.
Drink like 8 times the amount of water you think you need to be a lot better.
A third of the amount of whiskey.
Yes.
Right.
So let's talk a little bit more. I want to talk about like the market. So it sounds like the market in Colorado Springs is just literally taking this huge dive and is declining. It's like taking the article right here in the Gazette. It said it's the largest decline in nearly 30 years. Is that truly what's going on there, Lana?
Well, I haven't been selling real estate for 30 years, but definitely a difference since 2014 and 15 to now. And have you seen those funny memes about builders? How like last year, all the builders were like flipping off the realtors, and now they're like, come get our business. We need you. Yeah. That's a true story. It happened like that, because we were like last year, literally, we were like knocking on builders' doors, like bringing them. Okay, I don't know if it's going to legal or not, but we're like bringing builder reps gifts. Like, please, this family needs to get in the house, get us like, and they're like, okay, we put you on the list. But now it's like, okay, where are all your buyers? I'm like, yeah, our buyers are not buying new builds anymore because it's just too much right now.
Yep.
But yeah.
One big reason for that too is like it takes how long? Like 9 to 12 months to build a house, sometimes more, and you can't necessarily lock in an interest rate.
Nope.
So with the market being the way it is, I mean, I really truly feel for the people that started building their houses in the beginning of last year and then are where they're at right now and staring 7% in the face.
Yeah. Yep. Happened a couple of times. Yeah.
So it looks like here in this article that Austin's got pulled up too, they're talking about it that they issued 119 permits for construction of single family homes, and that's down 62%. I mean, did building just come to a halt when those interest rates went up in June, or?
Well, yeah, because remember the new build communities are getting taxed higher too. Their taxes are like 1 or 1.5%.
Okay.
Yeah. And of course, they're compared to resale property, they're also more expensive.
Yes.
Then buyers, started realizing, oh crap, maybe I do not need this brand new property. Maybe I can go ahead and look at some resales and things like that. And let me tell you what builders did last year. Like literally half of our builders, they stopped paying realtors, or they were paying like a 1%, or even they went up to a flat fee of $1,500.
Yep.
We had that here too.
That's like a slap in the face. And now I'm pretty sure it adjusted. We work with some builders. We don't sell a lot of new builds. Most of the time we sell resales. But it's been interesting how hearts churned, you know?
Yeah, so you're seeing a huge downshift in new build, but it looks like you're also seeing a huge downshift just in general, like 33% decline in October in sales from the year before.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow. And do you contribute that just to interest rates? Does that have to do sometimes with the relocation of the military and that kind of thing? Or like why do you think it's that much in Colorado Springs?
Well, this is a great question. So Colorado real estate always is cycling, right? Because, for example, our military client, that's our avatar, that's our client avatar. Meaning for the public, it's our bread and butter, right? That's like 85% of our business. So when there is big deployments or big PCS moves coming in or coming out, we feel it. We feel it, right? So it's a little bit of both, but most of the time it's interest rates. And you kind of have to also see like what have our country been through since 2020, right? We have freaking Corona, COVID, whatever. Then we have elections. And then we're like, interest rates drop historically low, which was so unhealthy. And now we're like, okay. So I feel like public is just tired. They're fed up with this bullshit. And they probably just, maybe they need to buy a house, but it's not necessity. So they're just waiting out. They're going to see what happens.
Okay.
Well, do you agree? Or do you disagree with that?
I mean, I completely agree. I mean, I've got sellers that are they're like, I don't want to sell because I'm gonna have to buy at 7%. I've got buyers that are like, I don't want to buy at 7%. I'm like, hey, there's a buy down. But still, like everyone is so exhausted, and between sicknesses and what's going on in the world and the country, and I think social media and the news and everything has just started to overwhelm everyone. Like I know I've definitely had to scale back on like anything with a screen because it's amazing at how much it affects some people. So I can see it definitely affecting real estate as a whole.
Yeah. But like, as far as like the holidays, in my opinion, holidays, it's always it's an interesting time, but take the market shift and the holidays, because like we always go very, very heavy on marketing with like our client events and client appreciation program in the fall, only so when we come out of the holiday season, we're fresh in our clients' minds.
Yeah.
Because I truly believe consumers' mind, unless it's like a military move or it's a situation where it's a divorce, childbirth, where they really have to move within the next 30 to 60 days. I think majority of the consumers, aka buyers, they're thinking of buying after the holidays. Because what are we thinking of right now? We're thinking of spending money on gifts, possibly traveling, saving, right? So not a lot of thinking doing the same thing, and also buying a house. But
go ahead.
Oh no, but what I noticed comes February, March. For example, last year, March and April, March, April, May a little bit too, were the busiest months of our entire year. Simply because I truly believe, the tax returns come in. The buyer feels empowered. They get free money. They can go buy a house. They can go invest, things like that. So I'm hoping that maybe we get a little bit of that in next year. We'll see.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I wanted to add to that like if you guys don't know, I think I've told Austin this. If you don't know, we're quickly approaching the number one day to look at real estate in the entire year, and that is the day after Christmas. Because people, like, according to like Realtor.com, Redfin, all the websites, December 26th is the number one day that people look at real estate, because they're with their families. They want to live closer to their families, especially after the last couple years. And then they go and they make a New Year's resolution to buy a new house. So then they're like, I got to get my taxes done. It just adds to what you're saying. And then they're like, okay, the goal is, kids are done with spring break about March, late March, bam, April, May, bam, bam, let's buy a house. Let's go. So I hope you're right. I hope, March, April, May is when, we see the same amount. And I hope interest rates definitely turn themselves around. With what you're seeing with people staying in their houses longer now, are you noticing a lot in your market? People are kind of becoming like accidental landlords because they just need to get out to the next spot?
As far as, no, not yet. Okay. Most of the clients who are selling with us, they're still listed, or they don't give up easily and they try to sell.
Okay.
Because ultimately we always present that option that, look, you can sell it, you can also rent it out. here's the rental comps. But see, not everybody wants to become landlord. It's a bit scary. And I mean, they will if they have to, but it hasn't been happening just yet.
Okay. But I'm guessing that's something that you can see in your market just because of just the sheer like amount of turnover. I know that when military relocates, like they've got to go. And so not really like sitting on their house for 120 days or whatever, that's not something that's going to work for them, is it?
Yeah, and of course, there are some clients who choose to keep it as a rental because it's part of their long game plan to keep their portfolio, until they retire. And we're way aware. But usually, when we have a property listed, we're gonna sell it.
Okay. Well, that's awesome. And then it said, this one really killed me. So I was reading this one other article, and it was on KKTV, and it was talking about how Colorado Springs ranked #1 in the country where homeowners stay put the shortest. What are you seeing for like average? I mean, I think nationally it's like 7 to 10 years at this point. What is your guys's kind of time in a home?
Well, honestly, Cass, I think, from someone, I've got JBLM right here, and I think it's very easy to throw up a catchy headline like right here. Here it is. Colorado Springs ranks #1 in country where homeowners stay for the shortest. Mm-hmm. But if you have I think Lana, you named like 5 military installations.
5
earlier. So
yeah.
5 installations. So if you have 5, and think about like not just the soldiers, but the support that goes with those military members, people are just going to be coming like in and out consistently every couple of years. And like if I'm looking at this here, this zoomed in screen, I also see like Greenville, Knoxville, like places that are also close to other military type installations. Lana, is that kind of what you would equate that number to?
Yeah, I would completely agree. I think they're taking military relocations and PCSs into this equation. Because otherwise you're either military and you move because you have to. But a lot of people who are moving into Colorado Springs, they absolutely love it and they stayed. We were a military family and we decided to stay here, name this home. So
is that easy? Like, so I do not have military background. Is that something easy? Like, can people just say, I want to stay, like, and not leave again? Or,
when from Realtor.com, Colorado Springs came in.
Sorry.
Jeez, Austin.
Yeah.
But is that something like, Lana, you guys stayed? Did you guys have the choice to stay? Or like, do you get to a point in your career and you can just choose, like, I don't want to relocate anymore?
No, actually, it's not as easy unless you have high school age children and you can kind of, ask military to keep you here because your kids need to go to school. But in our case, we were getting orders to PCS to actually Seattle. Do you guys, what's a base in Seattle? There's got to be something.
Yeah, the JBLM is right here, and there's a couple other.
Yeah.
Joint base is the biggest.
My husband was like, okay, that's what we're going to do. And I'm like, I don't think so, because if you really expect me to do what I'm doing here somewhere else, I won't be able to. And we made a mutual decision for him to get out of the Army. And it was a gradual process. You cannot just say, I'm not leaving. You cannot take me, Army. No, he had to transition into the National Guard, where he stayed for up to 3 years. And then he actually fully got out of the Army. And now we work together. But it's possible, but you have to make some sacrifices. Luckily for our family, I already had a career in real estate going. So it was easier for my husband to make a decision. Otherwise, just like getting out and, throwing his career of 11 years to kind of,
Yeah. So it sounds like, I guess I was doing I was talking to my cousin who lived down in Springs, and he just said that, like, in the past few years, it has just absolutely exploded down there. I think he said he'd been there for almost 5 years. Tell us about that. Like, is it really expanding as crazy as he said it was?
It was, yes. And I'll tell you why. Like, just about 3 years ago, there were these articles going around that Denver has been named, Denver, not Colorado Springs, #1 city in entire America. And then it was like a tie between Denver and Austin. Well, what do you think this did to the Denver market? And Denver had this spike of the, house boom where multiple offers and lines to get into the properties before we did. And we were like even a little bit laughing. I was like, haha, look at Denver. We're never going to get this in Springs. Well, sure enough, we got it a year later. That's how delayed the process was. But what do you think happened to all the Denver people who are trying to buy a nice, affordable single family property, but they just can't? Well, they came here. We're like, come on, come to mama. We're going to help you. And we did. And we have a lot of clients who they even buy in south end of town, where it takes them 1.5 hours to get to Denver to work. And they're like, I much rather have my own house here versus like rent or live in an apartment in Denver. So we got a lot of those. And then of course, when, in 2020, when COVID happened, we have so much outdoors things to do. And a lot of people just moved here just to be less constrained,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Wow. It sounds like the market down in the Springs has just been up and down and around and back and forth, but it sounds like you have been very successful in helping your clients get and achieve what they need at this time, and anytime. So that it's just great to meet with another great woman in real estate and just see how everything's going in your market. And I hope it really gets to the positive side of things here in 2023. I know we hear mixed messages all the time about what the next year brings, but I really hope that Colorado Springs does good this next year. So since we're kind of wrapping up here, I guess, Lana, how do we get in contact with you? How do we reach out to you? How does someone that catches this video, how do they get in contact with you?
Yes, friends. Well, first of all, I hope we all win in 2023. If you're a realtor, if you're a client, if you're a buyer, seller, I hope it's going to be our year to shine. So let's just get through this freaking winter, through the holidays, and then it's going to be our time. But my business phone number is 719-644-8900. That's a company's number. And I'm on Facebook and Instagram at the Lana Rodriguez. And if you shoot me a DM, I will make sure I reply fast. And if you guys have any questions, also, here's a little plug. If you are a female, follow me on TikTok. There's all but real estate content, there's a little bit of real estate content, but I have quite a bit of a community there too. Mostly about weight loss, but that's just like a little plug if any females are watching.
Yeah, I was actually scrolling your TikToks this morning. You guys definitely check it out. Lana's got some great stuff on there. I don't want to go too much into it here. But yeah, she's had an amazing journey, and it's something to really, really be proud of, because it's challenging as a woman to face those things and like the way the media portrays everything. So I applaud you, and the way that you've reached out to other women to help them as well. It's been pretty sweet seeing that this morning. Anything else, my dear, that you want to add before we wrap it up here?
No, friends. Well, first of all, thank you both for having me. It's an honor. And for our audience watching, just be kind. Be kind and be patient. Be patient with yourself. Be patient with your loved ones, and be kind. And don't take shit personal. Because if somebody is mad or is having a bad day, it may not be about you. It may be about them. So just be kind. Be there for them. And that's all I got. Just kidding. Just holidays. Enjoy. Eliminate the bullshit and enjoy this precious time with your loved ones.
Absolutely. Amen to that. Well, thanks again to everyone for turning into the upper left. Thank you to Lana, Miss Rodriguez from Colorado Springs. We loved having you here today. It was so much fun. If you guys got any comments, questions, requests, or dedications, please drop them in the notes down below here. Maybe some of the nuggets you took away. You want to move to Colorado Springs, you want to learn more about the Manitou Incline, I got you. She's got you. So just make sure that you like and subscribe to our channel. I'd like to tell you about our next episode, and that's going to be a doozy. We are going to be taking some time off to be together with our families for the holidays, and we will be back on January 2nd at the normal time, 2 p.m. Pacific, 4 p.m. Central. We will be, Austin and I will be talking everything about the 2023 real estate and economic predictions. We've been watching and going to all of these different meetings lately. I went to one, NAR had their chief economist, Lawrence Yun, in, and we listened to him. It's been insane. It's crazy to hear all these different predictions. So you don't want to miss out if you're thinking about buying or selling in 2023. We're going to have a bunch of information for you. Other than that, so again, thanks for tuning in. I am Cassandra Marks here in Portland, Southwest Washington. He
Yep.
is Austin Robertson in Seattle and Tacoma, and we are the upper left. So everyone have a wonderful holiday, and we will see you in the new year.
Yeah. God bless everybody. See you
Bye,
all.
guys.